welcome to M1 Yarns and the Michigan Makers podcast. If you're new here, my name is Jamie and I'm the yarn dyer behind m1yarns.com. And this is a mostly knitting and fiber arts related podcast. If you've been here a few times, you know that this is a different setting and it is the week before Christmas. And I thought it would just be nice to kind of get some of the holiday vibes in the video and sit here. And normally I try to record my episodes during the day in the afternoon. And today I just that's how my day went. I just happened to be recording in the evening. So we've got kind of some cozy candle vibes here. I've got a mug of oh so delicious herbal tea with a little bit of honey. And right on cue, the moment I started talking, Daisy, who had been previously resting, came in the room, started chasing, excuse me, I'm sure you heard, chasing a tennis ball around our hardwood floors. So sorry about that. I'm going to try to make this, I say this so often, I'm going to try to make this an edit-free video. And before I forget, show notes should be below, unless I basically just scrap it. I'm like that, I'm in that week, I'm in that holiday season, like there's so much to do, even though I'm like really minimalizing like the holiday craziness this year. But I just don't want one more thing. But I wanted to put out an episode because I had a few things to talk to you about. I've got a table full of things in front of me that I wanted to chat with you about. So I'm going to push this candle, albeit so cozy, and this is an old jar that someone had gifted me, and I make my own soy candles. I don't really talk about this much anymore. I used to sell candles on my website. They were like yarn ball shaped. They had all the details of a yarn ball, but I don't really sell my candles anymore. I just enjoy making candles for our home and as gifts. I really enjoy, so I have asthma and allergies, and so I can't use like a lot of those commercial candles because they're full of toxins that just, they actually pollute your air more than, anything. So I have to use like soy candles and I have to know what's in it. I do use, this is like not knitting related. So you're like, Jamie, get on with the knitting, but I'm sure you're here for it because this is kind of crafty. This is easy to make. You can buy the soy wax flakes on many websites, including you know where. But I add, for when I do want to add fragrance, I use like essential oils or food grade, what's the word I'm looking for? Fragrance oils that are like of the highest quality so that they don't bother my asthma and allergies. But anyway, enough about that. Let's get the candle out of the way so we don't burn all the knitting, to the ground. Okay, so I have to kick this off because this is like going to tie into what I'm talking about. Oh, I should tell you what I'm wearing, shouldn't I? This is the recently finished Stockholm V-neck pullover by Petite Knit. And yes, before you come at me, I do love me a good Petite Knit pattern. I haven't knit one in a while, but my friend Kelly and I decided that we would both knit Stockholm pullovers. She knit the crew neck, I knit the V-neck. We use the exact same yarn. And this yarn, I'll get a little closer so you can see, is the It's a DK weight, like Cormo CVM mix from Dressau Family Farm, who I met a few months ago. Um, she is a farmer, shepherdess, both. She's a lovely human out of Minnesota. And I picked up 3 skeins of this, and I wound up, I think I told you about this on a previous episode, with like literally, hi Daisy, you want to make an appearance? Hi, can you lay down? Can you lay down? Go lay down. Like that much yarn left. So it was like the ultimate. Now she wants to play with the tennis ball again. You guys, I'm really sorry. Daisy, lay down. She is going to make me have to edit this video. We're gonna hang in there. So that's what I'm wearing. So like this year, I did not knit that many sweaters, and I am a mostly sweater knitter. I think this was the year of the accessory, which is fine. You know, you got to change it up. But next year, I want to get back on the sweater train. And I just posted to Instagram and Facebook like my make 9 for next year. So if you're interested in what I plan to knit as a whole, go check out that post. But I do want to knit several cardigans. And I think I told you about this on an episode when I got back from Rhinebeck. But when I was at Rhinebeck, I discovered a vendor there who had a like 4 or 5 pack of buttons very similar to this. There was like a few cherry themed ones and a few butterfly themed ones. And then there was something else, I think strawberries. So I went up to the lovely vendor and her lovely husband, who, by the way, are going to vend at Fresh Coast Fiber Fest next May, which I'll talk about that Fiber Fest more in a minute in case you don't already know. But anyway, so it was like a 4 or 5 pack with like a couple cherries, a couple, maybe one butterfly, and then a couple strawberries. And I said to her, ma'am, I love these buttons. They're made out of clay. Isn't that cool? I said, I really love them. Michigan is the cherry capital of the world, and turquoise is one of my favorite colors, but I don't want the strawberry ones. Is there like, it can't hurt to ask, like, is there something we can do to basically make me some custom buttons? Is basically what I ended up asking. And she was so nice and said, I'm looking at one of these, like, anyway, it's strange. What did she say? She said yes. She said, when do you need it? And I said, not for a while. Whenever is good for you. So she just sent me my custom buttons, and she made like multiple buttons for me to pick from. So I got these 2 butterfly buttons, and then I got 4 cherry buttons. 3 with just 1 cherry, and then 1 with 2 cherries. And I want to make a cardigan, obviously buttons on a cardigan. And I want to wear this to the Fresh Coast Fiber Festival, which I am the organizer and founder of, because I want, Traverse City is where the Cherry Festival happens every summer. And I want this to be like my homage to Traverse City. So these are the buttons that got it all started. Now the question is not so much which pattern, which is a valid question. So if you have a cardigan pattern you want to recommend, by all means, comment below. But more so, like keeping in mind the color theme, and don't mind my atrocious state of my fingernails right now. Like winter hands are a thing right now. So, do I, in your opinions, do I knit a turquoise cardigan, a red cardigan, maybe like ivory or brown or black? Help me plan this project, please, because it is super special to me. These buttons are amazing. Highly recommend. And I realized I have yet to tell you who she is. Her name is Lisa Peters. I think it's Lisa Peters Russ or Lisa Russ Peters, but her brand name is Lisa Peters Art. And she's going to be a vendor at Fresh Coast Fiber Festival. I'm so geeked. Basically, I said to her, hello, my name is Jamie. I need custom buttons and I want you to vend at my fiber festival. That is basically how the conversation went down. And it was so great because I saw her at Rhinebeck on Saturday, but her booth was crazy. It was in the big building. It was super busy. And I said, mental note, I'll come back Sunday when it's a little quieter and I will wait patiently for the opportunity to have like an in-depth conversation. That is what we did. And I'm excited. So now I just need to know what pattern and what yarn. More so what colorway or color, because you know me, I'm a yarn dyer. I can basically get whatever yarn I want and dye it whatever color I want. So this is fun. I'm excited. So that is on my radar. Okay. I want to tell you what I'm knitting and what I have recently finished and what I plan to knit and a few other things. But before I do that, let me quickly mention. So some of you know I also spin yarn, and I haven't been doing a whole lot of spinning lately just because. I don't know why my hair looks so crazy. But a fellow spinning friend of mine who actually sold me her electric eel wheel, which got my whole spinning thing going a few years ago. We met up at a coffee gathering last weekend, and she walked in and she was like, I have a gift for you. I have a whole bag of alpaca fleece. And she said it just wasn't for her. She knew that I had cleaned and carded an alpaca fleece recently, which I'm actually currently spinning. So I'm just gonna pull out some of this. Look how beautiful. That has got to be the thumbnail. Wait, I should do it on this side so we get the Christmas tree in the background, right? Look at that. I'm going to leave this out and I'm going to take this photo right when I finish recording and make this the thumbnail. Oh, I was not expecting this. I had not even opened the bag, but look at that. She gave me this whole fleece. The crimp on this alpaca is Courtney. This is even better than I realized. Oh, I'm excited. Okay, so that is another acquisition to share. Now we can get on with the knitting. So that was exciting. More so for me than for you, but sharing is caring. Okay, so last time I mentioned one of the things I'm knitting, I had just cast on the jaunty shawl, and I am knitting this out of my like earliest hand spun yarn. So it is bad. Like this yarn is thick and thin, lumpy bumpy, kind of all over the place. I wasn't sure last time I recorded like how I felt about this. But I kept going because sometimes you just got to trust the process. And I am now, so you cast on, you increase, and then like basically when you've used up almost half of each of your balls of yarn, then you start decreasing. And I just started decreasing. Like you can't, I think I've only done one decrease, so you can't even tell yet. So this is half fisherman's rib. I like it more than I thought I would. I will say that. I have avoided half fisherman's rib like the plague for many years. I feel like this is upping my knitting skill toolbox. So if you're looking for something like that, or if you have like scraps, this is a good pattern for scraps. I'm not usually a shawl person, but I thought that this would be, let's see, this is the middle. So like, let's say it would basically be like a nice little like cozy neck filler in the coat situation is what I'm envisioning how I will wear it. So I'm happy to report that it's progressing well, and it's actually a joy to knit, which is, you know, and now my stitches are falling off the needle, so that's lovely. Let me just put that back on there. I also just cast on a new yarn that's coming to the M1 Yarn shop soon. I thought I would knit up a sample, and this has not been blocked, so please don't judge the fact that there's tails and it looks wonky. I think it's going to block out beautifully. But these, or this, because there's only one so far, is the WOM mitts. I can't remember who, I don't have my iPad, so sorry. If you follow me, linked below is my Ravelry page. If you follow me on Ravelry, I have all my project pages like fully updated. So I finished the first one the other night. I've yet to weave in the ends. The pattern is like you knit two of the same. It's the same front and back, so it doesn't matter. I love that. What do I want to tell you about this? The yarn. Yes, I knit the sample in undyed because I had caked up a skein before I really thought about what colorways I want to dye this yarn in. But I will tell you, this is the yarn. It is a light fingering weight. You can kind of get a feel for it right there. I'm holding it doubled because the pattern is worsted, I believe. And I'm knitting this on a 9-inch circular with the short, these are Chowgos, so the short tips, FYI. But back to the yarn, yes. I feel like I'm having like an ADD moment. This is llama. Let's just take a moment and look at how beautiful it is. Oh, you know what? You don't even really get, I know my ball is really messy. You don't get a full, beautiful photo or picture of how nice this yarn is. But I promise you, if you shop my booth at one of my fiber festivals next year, you will fall in love with this yarn. Or if you just want to trust me and you order it on my website when it's finally available soon, I promise you, you will not be disappointed in this yarn. So I'm gonna you gotta have a sample. So mitt number 1, I think this took in total, including the thumb, 3 evenings. So you could knit a pair in a week. Love that kind of project. Okay, so that's the other thing I'm knitting. And last night I just bound off another project that I had previously told you about. Let's put that there. So I keep mentioning this Fresh Coast Fiber Festival, which if you didn't know, is a brand new fiber festival happening in Traverse City next May that I am the founder and organizer of. And if you haven't seen the previous episode where I announce it, I think I announced it in September, I want to say. Anyway, this is the logo, okay? So we have a Lower Peninsula of Michigan shaped Adirondack chair with I'm really hoping it'll focus a little better. And then on the chair is, there we go, a knitted, oh my God, please focus. A knitted blanket and a ball of yarn, and then the words. Okay, so the chair and the blanket is what's important here. I bought 2 chairs that look just like this summer. They were used. That's a whole other story for another day. I painted them white because that was my vision, to go with like the white background of the logo. And I knew that at the festival, I want a photo op with these 2 chairs and the blanket and the ball of yarn, so people can like, have a photo that looks like the logo, is basically it. So I knit a whole blanket, and I'm not a blanket knitter, so this was a labor of love. This is gonna lay on one of the chairs. I was gonna knit 2, and then I was like, do I need to? No. So that's one of them. That's the blanket. And then I got a tennis ball. I mean, not a tennis ball, a baseball. And I wrapped it in yarn to be efficient in my yarn usage. And this is going to be sitting on the chair just like this. Cute, huh? So that's done and ready for May. And I'm really excited because this festival is coming together so well. We have vendors coming from all across the country, some who have never vended in Michigan before, so that's exciting. Downtown Traverse City, where the festival is at, it's like the arena is a third of a mile from the beach, walking distance to shops and restaurants, and over a dozen hotels are within 1 mile of the arena. Not to mention Airbnbs and all that sort of thing. Things are just shaping up. I have a lot that soon I'll be able to announce, so I'm really excited. But this feels like a personal, passion project to knit this blanket that so many people will have as a photo prop. So kind of like geeked to finish that. Okay, so now that I finished that, and my jaunty is almost done, and my pair of mitts is almost done, the question is, and I ask myself this every December. Let's take a moment to pause. This tea is so good. What am I going to knit with all my scraps? And I'm looking and I'm like, what did I do? I must have left it in the other room. And if I get up, Daisy will get up. It's a whole thing. It doesn't matter. I had a whole basket full of balls of yarn that are like the leftover balls. And every year I take all my leftovers and I knit a scrappy project. Not necessarily with all of the leftovers, but like I try to organize my leftovers into some sort of cohesive pile that becomes my palette. So for example, a couple years I have knit skirts. These are, I think both, I have 2, I'll show you. These are both DK weight held doubled to make like kind of a bulky situation. And this is a free pattern called the Simple, I think it's called the Simple Ass Warmer. Again, linked on my Ravelry. This was the first one, I think, and I really love this one. I use what's the mathematical equation where like the number of stripes does something that makes a lot of sense and my words are not making sense. I know you math people are like screaming at the screen right now, but you know what I'm talking about, where you like figure out your striping. Anyway, so I knit a couple scrappy skirts. I have also, I don't think this was scrappy, but it could be. Joggers. Love these. I don't wear these that often, and I really should. And honestly, I want to knit a pair of pants to wear to Rhinebeck next year. Just putting that out there. Someone needs to hold me to that. So all that to say, I want to make a scrappy project. I do love a good knit skirt, so that's an option. The first couple years that I did this, like going back probably like to 2020, I knit bulky sweaters. I just took like my favorite pattern, like a yoke or a raglan or whatever, and basically like, changed yarns as the mood struck. So, highly recommend using your scraps to make something, because why not? Basically, I was knitting so much a few years ago that I had like baskets and baskets and baskets full of yarn. And I was like, this is a whole sweater quantity of yarn. Why would I let it go to waste? So yeah, so that's that. So speaking of sweaters, the one whip of this year that I either have not finished or did not frog, because this year I did frog several things. And this was early in the year, I want to say, was what is this called? Oh my God, it's going to rack my brain. It is a Tin Can Knits pattern. There's a worsted version. I think there's a fingering in DK too. It's got this like, oh, you can't really see it with this yarn, but it's got like a garter stripe that runs down the sleeve. It'll come to me probably as soon as I finish recording. But anyway, I had cast this on. This is hand spun yarn held with mohair. I will show you. So this is fiber that I bought at Rhinebeck a few years ago, and it was really muddied when I spun it up, so I plied it with mohair. No, I take that back. I plied it with undyed gray yak yarn, and that's how it created that like barber pole look. So I wanted to hold it with mohair, and this is my Riding on Air base in the colorway Silver Fox. So I thought this would kind of brighten this up. And I started knitting, as you could see here. And I forgot to rotate skeins. And when I got here, I realized that this skein was way darker and greener than this skein. And it was so, otherwise, like if I didn't fix the problem, it would be like this probably like giant dark block right on my boobs. Not very flattering. So I think it was like pushing spring. I had other things I needed to work on. And I was like, you know what? Set it to the side. Let it marinate. I'll come back to it. That's what I did. it does feel really nice, like really nice. I'm ready to come back to it. So I think all I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna rip out the cast on and the neck because it's actually a folded over collar. So it's like if I rip that out, it would be really tedious. And this has mohair. So I already believe that frogging this is going to be a pain. So I am going to put it in the freezer overnight, which will help. If you never knew that, yes, putting mohair projects in the freezer helps to make it easier to frog. So I think I'll probably rip it back to like maybe just after the collar, and then I'll start rotating my skeins so that the like color variation, which I'll show you the skeins. So it kind of like evens out. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, you can see that this is the one that's like way darker. And this one, look at that, is more orange. Maybe that should be the thumbnail. I don't know. Anyway, I'm like mentally back to it. So I want to bang that out. Basically, like this is probably a worsted weight sweater, I think, is what I figured out. I had figured, I should say. I could knit this in like a couple weeks. Yeah, I should just do that and finish it before anything else. I'm glad we talked this through because this is helping me, because what I also want to knit is some other hand spun, which I've told you about before. This is undyed gray, a gray fleece that I bought several years ago. Forget this. I already decided this is going to be something else. This is going to be a hoodie designed by Park Williams that I can't remember the name of it. No sweatshirt, maybe? Anyway, I am definitely going to rotate my skeins like a good girl. But anyway, what I was saying, this is an undyed gray fleece plied with fiber that I dyed. And I'm very happy with how it turned out. Let me show you one cake. I think that this like spin was where spinning to me really started to come together and feel fun. So I'm excited about that. I'll probably cast that on, you know, in the new year. And then these, which was other dyed fiber plied with undyed gray fleece. These are going to be something else because they've yet to tell me. Maybe this should be the thumbnail, like Princess Leia. Or it looks like headphones, like with the string hanging down here. Maybe that's a thing. Maybe you have to listen to your cakes to hear what they want to be. I didn't hear anything. Not surprising. Anyway, that's on the horizon. What else? For those of you who are who occasionally shop my website, which if you do, thank you. This was an M1 Yarns design and kit, and there are only 2 left. This is the Fade to Black cowl, and I'll just show you. if you're out like me, walking your dogs, and it gets windy, you can just, here, let's do this. I have a lot of hair. There you go. Now you got a hood and a cowl. It's like a balaclava. And in a pinch, you could like do this and pull your jacket up and then zip your jacket like over, and you could be really cozy. So this is the Fade to Black. There's only 2 left. And the yarn is merino, silk, and yak. I forget what I called the yarn base at the moment because my brain is fried. I think that's all I got for you. I think we're just going to leave it at that. And I'm going to wish you happy holidays, a happy new year. Thank you so much for joining me. Whether you're watching this in 2025 or in the future, that is a really weird thought. But anyway, thanks for joining me. Comment below what you're knitting and if you plan on attending the Fresh Coast Fiber Festival. I would love to see you there and meet you if we don't already know each other. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day and that you get some time knitting. That's what I'm going to go do shortly. So thank you again, and until next time, happy knitting, happy crochet, happy spinning. Bye.